continue to do the wrong things and expect to get good results. One of the things, I'll give you an example on state institutions. If you take your minds back, we had a heated debate on the midterm census. And the institution I represent in a coalition, the national elections, what we stood our ground. Not that a midterm census was not useful, not that it was not useful for development purposes, but elections and governance has a calendar. Anything falling short of that calendar would interfere with the space, and it would be a cutback on what we should have mobilized as progress. So what happened was that the civil registration was supposed to take course. And we saw a number of problems ahead because these were issues we have highlighted in the 2018 elections reports. We saw how, for example, getting credible data and accounting for the identity of every eligible citizen was a challenge. And so we said, can the government and people of Sierra Leone invest into a civil registration process where we can get all eligible Sierra Leoneans 18 and above to be accounted for with their names, full details, and biometric features? That process was not something we could hold as credible. A number of people were left out, the process was slow, a number of things went wrong with the confirmation of the civil registration process. Fast forward, a year down the line, everybody is shouting, head of National Elections Watch, where are you? Problems are going on with the registration. No, but it went wrong long time ago in the past. We tried as best as possible. We intervened. We said, forget about midterm census. Concentrate on the civil data. Make sure we get it right. This is only when no eligible Sierra Leonean will be left behind. We are battered. Everything. Just think of what happened to us during that period, but we stood our ground. Today we are facing the consequence, and that is the consequences of bad governance. I've just given that one example for us to show a situation where what we should do now, we failed to do it, and then in the next couple of months we want things to be right. It cannot be right. The mistake has been done. So it's the same thing with our state institutions. I have said a couple of times through our advocacy platforms, let us holistically review the 1991 Constitution. That Constitution does not support a democratic state. What will happen 2016, 2015, 2014, I am going backwards. It was the SLPP who were crying. They were my best friends. I am friends with the opposition because I'm friends with democracy. In a democracy, you must like opposition because it's about opposing you. If you push opposition, there is no democracy. They were all over the place. The letters on my office table are like this in 2016, 2015, complaining. And it is the same issue today that APC are sending the same letters complaining. How do we want to continue into a political jigsaw? Why can't we fix the problem? Making sure that supreme executive authority, those issues that are cut back to the state and democracy, we address them. Appointment is a critical issue. So what we are having, for example, is what we call a regime-serving police. They will do anything, right? Today, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for those who are benefiting. One thing I like about the police, like quote unquote, they do not change. They will go to lengths to misuse and abuse power. And when the other party comes to power, they do the same thing to them. They have never changed their stance. What you want us to do, we will do it. It should not be. We are nurturing a society, a violent society. It should not be the case. Let us try as best as possible to promote professional policing, a police that is accountable and subjected to civil oversight. That's why some of us believe that the police should be put forward to scrutiny, and those things that they have done wrong, they should account for police brutality, notwithstanding the rights of police officers also, because they are performing a sacred duty to the state. They also have lives that also should be respected and protected. For me, those parameters, I believe in the principles of democracy. We should all disagree because we are not thinking the same. We are not the same, but those fundamental principles, whether you are Minister Soiree, whether you are head of IGL and ABDULAI, whether you are head of campaign for good governance, Marcela Samba, or whether you are Mr. BayraYTay, formerly spokesperson in the former government, we should not go below those fundamental principles. Respect for the rights and views of individuals, freedom of association, the right to protest. Some of the things we do, we don't jump in the streets. My organization do not believe in protest. We do not do protest. We do voice. We believe in talking. That's why when we see the space for speaking out is shrinking, we feel very, very much aggrieved. We believe in letting citizens have a voice to dialogue with their leaders. We believe to create a space like this where we can speak the truth. That is another point. We need to institute patterns of honesty in the country. Insincerity is the bedrock of our politics. People are looking at you. They see this as black and they will tell you it is white right in your face. And they want to force you to believe it is white. It is wrong.
All right.
We are living in a society that is predominantly going to be violent. And when you suppress people, you suppress their views, they are going to find outlets to bring their views to the fore. I want to encourage us all. It sounds as if I'm preaching tonight. I want to encourage us all. Our society is our future. We cannot allow our society to be going down and we keep quiet. We think that it is right. It is not right. We will all be held accountable. Posterity will judge us one day.
Okay.
You see, we cannot continue to do the wrong things and accept.
Fambolemuna kushe henuna hadu. We are don't come back today for come talk about things where they happen. Now we on sweet your hearts alone. Now we on. Whoa, we for do them bad things them. We they feel a more alone. Now we on. Whoa, we had. And if we hurt you, we sorry. We no mean bad, we just want for make we had go before. If we hurt you, we sorry. We no mean bad, we just want for make we had go before. Fambul, Kushe and Kabo, how you they do? Hope say you they do okay. Well, in some case or at some point, we will say plenty things not they go on how it's supposed for go. But still, we want for tell God thank you because we able for go through the lot of challenges them where we face inside the country. If not to sick, now other problem, now him go actually come up. Well, this not the time for make your decision. But members say, inside the country, if you say you want for stand up for that thing where you refer to as right, the government not will elect that. If you want for protest, elect number 5. As long as you want for say and they talk against the government, then go arrest you. Remember the issue of Femi Claudius Cole and the cop Dennis Bright, where they not get a boku, then be just in small number they wear black. They go say that they hand over letter them to different people or institution, the police, the state house. We see how they embarrass them. But we see other sets of people where Komona do say that the protest against World Bank and other body them where say they not go support the government, for example, for the census. No policeman you not see around them. Because it be not very much clear, say, the first lady, before it become first lady, where be the campaign, it tell everybody, say, now only Udana SLPP, na true Sierra Leonean. We not be really want for understand wetin na been dandy, or wetin na been the meaning of that. But now, the handwriting very clear on the wall, and we all don't seem for the understand. Okay, no, some people don't seem for the understand, because yet still, you don't get some other people where they understand at all. Again, then they ask we a question, say, who's can change where we want? Because the people don't tire for suffer. But we not be asked question, say, yes, so who's can change where you want for giving? Now, we don't see the kind change. I be just to watch something inside 2021. Sugar for bag, na been 275,000. Sugar for bag today na 900,000 leons. What kind of change? Whose kind change where you be dey look for? This time we don't come back. For they ask you questions them again. That one they go come and say, I go intensify. Waiting this time in new direction. Then they go come and tell you, say, he want to take you na the right direction. Okay. Well, we still there. And this na time for let we decide. Sierra Leone they decide June 24, 2023. What kind of decision where you really want to take? The one way for make we continue with the kind thing where they go on at the country and nobody no one for take responsibility but rather excuses? Well, and left to waiting you choose for do. We fair not say the link no actually go fast. So you will join me right now on YouTube, please now for help me for share. You will join me on Facebook, do ya now for share again for we. So plenty people will able for know say the program don't come on. Interestingly, the number of people them na Facebook and YouTube now the same. Yes, they were two brother and sister. But please, as you share, now the more people will join me. Thank you all very much for your support and all team them. Well, yesterday we begin looking inside the investigation report where them pull Nado. Where they say August 8th to 10, 2022 protest investigation report. Where they say the Special Investigation Committee, where na the caretaker, na him been set them up, na him they don't pull the report and then give them now to the caretaker. But interestingly, we see inside the chairperson read the report, and at some point he say where all man don't go, he go get for discuss something between he and the president, no more the caretaker, because normally some of we understand. Well, we can't see how this report like today. Well, yesterday we attempted, but it look like say we not been to get the kind sabi, the kind sense, the kind idea for able for see plenty loopholes them. And today, somebody where it look like say in way they talk, like you know, I can find out say the one they way can get sense, they can they talk, but they no one for talk. We will not can get sense, now we can make gaga for talk, we make yagba for talk. You see how Dennis Bright they talk, very quiet, but the word them way it gets now mouth, the kind sense way it get. Anytime when it come up, it must make sure say in what way they come by the time they done solution they come. Now so this person back. Anytime when it talk with sense so much that anytime when it talk, solution must come para thing the way it talk about. Remember the last time we talked about the parliament, the welfare bill. He come and talk, he addressed me seriously. By the time we the Mara, game don't change. Parliament saying they no mix again. Okay. Well, today we don't get inside the program the former spokesman to the former caretaker Ernest Bai, where you could say former president, in name na ABDULAI BayraYTay. We don't join me inside the program again today for let me discuss about things them where they inside this investigation report. Mr. BayraYTay, good evening and welcome to Riyadh.
Thank you very much as always, Pierre and Riyadh. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, thank you for within the shortest possible time you're able for make and for you join me inside the program today. From the last day where you come here, before we begin talk about the investigation report, from the last day where you come here, say to this time, what you don't see the go on at the country with regards, what we discuss, what don't happen, the developments them, the retrogression them, or the backwardness, or what you don't see so far?
I see something very disturbing. We been get an opportunity for discuss the human rights status of a country. Where we see Amnesty International, then come, then go after the government because of the extrajudicial killings that really happen in our country. Then we also see the U.S. State Department report where they can weigh in on the kind way where the government they handle issues that way pertain to human rights. Then we'll just not even console with self-hate, where their reports and they come out. We also see a video we come out where somebody we mentally challenged, I'm not going to use the word we craze, is stoned the vehicle of what they say na President Bio insist time motoka. We see where the police and soldier man them in uniform, then they beat that person there. Then they beat that person there to the point that they not even recognize, say, yes, if this person stone motorcar, you get for also know waiting in mental health status. So when I see that, it became very disturbing for me that we get people in our country where we give weapons them from the taxpayers' money, and then they use their weapons and they against civilians them, whether mentally deranged or not. I think say we for continue the fight against human rights for country, for let the government uphold human rights, not to think where they end today, it end tomorrow. Now a continuous process, because as long as the social contracts, the covenants where they between we and the people them, if they in place, the government for just no say, we go continue for scrutinize them beyond party politics. As Sierra Leoneans, we have the right for scrutinize the actions of the government, because at the end of the day, what you want our country, now for let we country be a model for the rest of the world, if not Africa. That way we'll be continue for be very proud Sierra Leoneans.
I begin talk about something where we discussed here the last time, we get for do the welfare bill according to how we been the column, but then decide for column the Parliamentary Act of 2023 or 22, you know. So outside them decide for seek the welfare of the parliamentarians, them especially that of the speaker, where you won't be look bump past everything because they say they want for leave the status of caretaker president, you know. But we still say one particular member of parliament stand up to them. We make the speaker vex. The leader of government business vex. The deputy speaker, they all vex. And then they begin say this is hypocrisy to the highest degree. But at the end of the day, they reject. They withdraw that particular, you know, bill they na parliament, you know. And you na be one person way being don't call on Sierra Leone and say, let them stand up to that particular thing there. Let them cry against them and they reject them finally. So how you see, waiting at the action, how you consider that action of the few parliamentarians they will stand against that?
I only wish before the tenure of the parliament they come to an end so, therefore don't they listen to the cries of the people. And not just imagine, even when I watch that debates in the parliament, one MP they even talk say how when they travel, the other countries, the people where they go from parliaments and go attend meetings, then they say, oh, then try, they're not able to get business class. While as then at Sierra Leone, they not ever they get business class in the economy. The question for me was, would I tell you, say, when we send you to parliament to go work for we, now for go live a luxurious life? Who side them put that thinking there? Look at the economy in our country. Una want say, we una left power, we for still give una one kind lump sum of money, or every month for the pay una, even though una tenure done. We no say una be the pay pension. If una be the pay pension, una pension they run an asset. That is something you use. Imagine a civil servant where they take home 1 million leons. Then una one go get that kind of money. Now I really appreciate that day where we had come with that program there, and I get the opportunity for condemn members of parliament across the board, irrespective of political party. Where eventually, when the speaker came expressing frustration, he even call out, he say, "Bo, some of una are hypocrites. Not on same one they go inside my office, say how far waiting at the status of this bill. Now that people and don't talk, we had them don't talk, Bayrayrtay and don't talk, Sierra Leoneans and don't talk. Now una one can say, oh, una not a part of it." So this don't tell you, say, the double standards them where we can bring into the governance of the country, it's not good. It's not good for we. I only hope, say, they not be so insensitive to the suffering them of people in other country there, for let them even think for once. Say them for go give themselves that kind money then say because they don't go serve the people them. If for anything, I will repeat waiting have been the expectation. When we dey in this kind dire economic challenges in our country, where inflation dey in triple digits, this would not be an opportunity let members of parliament them may they always they articulate wetin will be in the best interest of Sierra Leoneans. That way, we will able to say they are the true representatives of the people. But when that's not happen, people's power, the media, we in role is not just to inform and educate, but also to galvanize public opinion so that we will able for all the government accountable, including our members of parliament, and we constitute the legislative arm of government. And so far, I think say we all for celebrate that, we kick against that, and then withdraw the motion, then bear instantly. I think say it is a victory for the people of Sierra Leone.
Okay. And quickly before we go into the okay, I think we can just jump into that one day right now. You know, we see Osai the special investigation committee where caretaker BO being set up for made a look into waiting happen from August 8th to August 10, you know, then come out with you know, a report. This report now 67 pages report where, you know, a lot of people them don't see, some people not see it yet. But you don't get the time for Sidom watch them again and again. You know, if we begin for pick out from this report, you know, because we lately yesterday when I watched the report, the first thing we see as the front cover na the police barrack na Kamakwe when I them project na people in face, you know. So this, in real opinion, they show you say the interest of the government from the one to now, not just the police. But I'll ask you this question: what do you think in general about this particular report?
Now another missed opportunity we don't witness again when I see Emmanuel Safa Abdulai as chairman of the special investigative committee they give in reports to State House. I say, wow, we hopes them been they say is a young man. We hopes them been say now somebody will be done in a civil society organization we then call Society for Democratic Initiatives. And that he has also described himself over the years as a human rights campaigner and activist. But when I see it read, it just even President Biotinab before me, they read that report there. Because all the words, the semantics that we then use, not just the narrative of President Bio, where he come out oversee in the way can witness that August 10 event, the post events, where he come, he say it was an attempt to overthrow his government. He say an insurrection, na terrorist them. He say na APC duam. When I take the term, I read the executive summary first. Then I read the thing up to the annex. I read everything. Now I say, we missed an opportunity. Even the language we then use, we then come for describe the way they kill the police them. Then say they were murdered in cold blood. Then we then come for describe the way they kill, brutally shoot and kill people them, the 21 other people them. They say they were killed. Then play what you call in literature hyperbolism.
They massage the words, the language.
They massage the words. So at the end of the day, you begin to see what is the interest here. I know one goes, some people them are in a different forum where they say this chairman cannot be independent because one, if you don't hold a position as a Premier League board where chairman when a president B.O.B. appoint him, and he is also right now a chairman for the National Procurement Appellate Commission. Now also a member of the Complaints Committee of SLAG, Million Organization where I belong to. And also now a retained solicitor of the National Electoral Commission. So when I see that, even though being privy to that, some of us will get faith say, you know what, as young man, no, we wait. Sometimes it will can give we a narrative, we will be very, very clear. But the other thing we're very disgusting for me in that report, they say they not get proof of extrajudicial killings. But the able find evidence say the protesters them, then get machetes them, then get weapon them for kill the 6 policemen them. But I want to set the record straight. Me, na person we not believe in violence. Now I make in no uncertain terms. I always condemn violence, not to the way for resolve conflict. Conflicts then bound for happen. But when you can't put the burden back on the people and say, if the families them of the 21 people and wait and kill, if they get evidence of any extrajudicial killings, then say, let them come forward. I mean, where you they do your investigation, not to that time day you for call on the people, their families, them, for even have a conversation with them, that their voices are being heard. Then even when I look at the composition of the committee where they set, I don't see no young man there. And the other thing will be very baffling for me. The police them already, they were alleged to be complicit in this thing here. The same with the military, the security, the ONS. Then you get people where they inside the committee, where them be don't already give a narrative. And you still come, you bring them inside that committee, where them be don't already prejudice, even who don't know the details of the protest them. So whilst we they condemn all violence, we also believe, say, these reports for don't be an opportunity, whilst the Peace and Reconciliation or National Cohesion Commission not able for coming to a fusion yet, we for don't use this as an opportunity for genuinely reflect as a nation, whereby the government for able to take responsibility. Because why I say the government na like Kumra, when you don't come na power, you for bring the nation together, you know, for promote divisiveness, because at the end of the day, you are now president for everybody. But if you come, you can't create a narrative. Even the reports, from what I understand from some of the names that we then list there as persons of interest. For instance, we know what you call the law of natural justice, the rules of natural justice. If you don't accuse me, you get for your side. Because in law we say, he who asserts must prove. But the people in Namakeni, even when they list, they're not endeavor for even talk to any, including the lawyer, a very respectable lawyer Namakeni, when a Boniface. This lawyer, Sidiki, he not be even in the country before, during, and after the old protest them. Now, after the fact, he be in England on vacation. So when you see all lengthy and the question is, why didn't you speak to them? And also in the reports, Sengbe Pierre, I see a kind of what you call in journalism, a deflection in terms of how they kill Evangelist Samson. The police already don't come, they say, nah, crossfire. Then pull a press release to the effect. But the pathologists say, now from a back, they shoot them. So how can a crossfire be when now from the back you can't shoot this person? And the report even makes some very, very unpleasant insinuations then. They say sometimes now the people and now the protest now they kill them because he knows so much for they no can reveal certain information.
So only quickly. Wait, since you talk about that one day, you know, just after we then kill Evangelist Samson, we hear Labi honest, Labi clear again. Sylvia Blyden pull audio pull right top, you know, make them kind of allegation you say because of waiting Evangelist Samson know about the former caretaker and his by command and other things them inside the APC, and that made them make a target for give bad name to the government and then talk to them.
And that is the unfortunate part. Because even the same Dr. Sylvia Blyden, they even talked to Ram as part of the investigations. So somebody who has already run a narrative on that kind of incident there, then who can't see again, then call him as somebody for talk to, then who see him appear and report again, that narrative there, then he just left with a little bit baffled. And you know what? Then people there waiting at this committee, they owe we a lot for explaining to this country. Because We will not go just go 21 people them, including police people them, who want to know how they die, who that kill them, who for able to do some evidence from the pathologists or able to release a report. Now I make even when the report say, oh, then go want for do another special investigation into the incidents and they fair enough. But again, the other thing we then downplay at this report, now for accept say the economy in our country is terrible, people are frustrated, the government's not they address issues them the way they're supposed to be. So you go find out, say this report, even when it comes to the extrajudicial killings and the high-handedness of the security apparatus, it contradicts to a very large extent the Amnesty International reports, as well as the U.S. State Department's reports, where they don't get no reason for let them license the government because they your vested interest now for make sure say human rights are recognized, democracy is upheld, and that the political space, which of course the reports recommend, for be very even so that even the voices of the opposition must be heard because constructively, that is the way we can promote good governance and democracy.
Let's look at this other angle again. You know, when the Amnesty International pulled well, not to even a report, the press release according to them, where they pull just a excerpt from the report, where they plan for pull later, you know, as part of the yearly report, where they can normally pull. You know, we still say the government, you know, the SLPP, you know, the Internal Affairs Minister, the Minister of Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, the Minister of Information and Communication, and other people them come in and, you know, attack Amnesty International, call them biased. The police come call them biased. You know, it gives them all kind of description. You know, the distorted information. They even talk, say they don't even talk to the police officer and family them. You know, according to them, the slain police officer and family them, they not talk to them. But in this case, we still say they don't come out again. Instead of them talk to the family of the one that way they don't lost their life, they rather call on them now after the report say, let them come with any evidence. But they not get, the word they use when now we see the press secretary to the president, you know, to the caretaker, Keke Thomas, and they use, he say, in this report, they not get any evidence for or facts or thing for sure say government or government officials them mixed by what they call extrajudicial killing.
Well, the question for me then is, President Mada Bio owe an explanation for tell we how then 6 police officers and they then die, how the other people and civilians them will die, so that we will able come and nip that culture of impunity. Because when it comes to issues of human rights, nobody no for go scot-free. I only hope President Bio know waiting in they play with so. After it, I only hope he know what he play with. So when it comes to issues of human rights, because the way people research and collate human rights violations and abuses, we they put the dates where the event happened, we they take the statements and where people they make. Imagine somebody in the strategic communication unit now, Ministry of Information and Communications. It come out. It say anybody where then do this, they then don't give authority for let the police then shoot and kill.
That's not the exact word of Alpha Saidu Bangura.
So when you use their statements then they, and Evangelist Samson, they not kill him the day of the protest. No. Now afterwards. So can we make a link with their statements?
So hold on. This is not exactly what I tell people in the beginning. Think then when you talk to and I not been done this time before. The statement of Alpha Saidu, it came after the protest. After when they declare curfew. The incident of Evangelist Samson came after the incident, you know, na Makeni. So when you don't put dots together now, you cross the T's, dot the I's, you don't able forget connection. And this is nothing where people are not be see. Now I don't see them, and I don't hold them now. Myself don't hold them, you know, I don't see the real part of them because it come. In fact, the deputy caretaker, Julde, when are the vice president, you know, it talks say anybody where then Kate would deal with them, but it not make them clear. It diplomatically come out with a word. But at first side on SLBC come and take and jagaja. Dry and tell people them say anybody then see na do. Police and German go take over. And they not talk about take. He said they go kill him. Then go shoot and kill him.
So and it happened. So at the end of the day, Now I make I see that they go after somebody like Ade Macaulay. Ade Macaulay is a lawyer, and he's a very seasoned lawyer. He went on AYV. He go discuss on the rights of people to protest. That rights they agree. Me agree. You agree with Section 17 of the Public Order Act, where say before you go do that thing and they, you need forget a police clearance. But the rights of protest, the right for assemble under Chapter 3 of the Constitution is very clear. So if somebody go talk on the Constitution, then the next thing you try for go make an inextricable link between in statement and the protest, to me it's just fallacious. It don't make any sense. You know, when the president, I make it be unfortunate, I've been tell the president when I was in Freetown, I say, Mr. President, you missed a golden opportunity for don't use this national issue for let you bring people them together. But when it comes, the statements that we make, they're so divisive that it come, you name a political party, you say it was well planned and financed. So if the investigative committee back can take that same narrative there, then the question now for me is, how did you arrive that it was financed? So the question then is, who financed it? Where did the money come from?
And according to the report, they say they're not able, the mobile company, they're not able to track, you know, how they finance or transfer money for finance this whole thing. But yet still they conclude say they finance them.
Then how did they arrive at that conclusion is a 1 million question. Who financed it? I am curious as a Sierra Leonean because I want to make sure when I am in Sierra Leone, people who come for finance anything of this nature, whilst meal safety will be compromised. So the report for me, it is more of an eye-opener with many more questions don't emerge from this report than, because now social opinions and insinuations now in the report. Who don't know say the economy they in dire straits? Where they come, then give you some analysis then.
But they say not to as a result of the economic hardship make them come out, rather than for totally pull, you know, the caretaker from in power.
No, well, what did they say on page 3 of the executive summary? They say they no go attribute the protest them solely on economic challenges in the country, but rather it is a way to overthrow. How you go say people they want overthrow just because they go for demonstrate? And people then come out very clearly say, now then are the people them take responsibility for them protest and they win a PPP. Then come out publicly and say, now then they organize this. And the economic situation, then even the report, it comes with some divisiveness. Just like with the narrative way President Bio say, oh, now the South, now Bo, now Kenema, protest, they not be there, why not only under, given a clear impression, say, it was the APC, so that the number one contradicts the president for saying that their own areas, they were now supposed strongholds, now they come because the old people in Freetown for say, Bio must go. Bio must go, of course, is through the ballot box. Just like waiting CDI Tunis been say, you know what? We activate a level 3 because President Bio for go. And the go way if for go, if for be through the democratic means. And some of us, we have invested so much in that country when it comes to democracy. And there is no way we will contribute to subvert the state. Or rather somebody where they don't elect democratically. So we believe, say, through the democratic means, Mother Bio must go because it don't fail the country using a manifesto where it can make promises them to the extent, even when they ask any of the minister about the bakery we promise we as part of the investment in our country, they say they don't want to talk about that. So you see, these are the issues then. I only hope say they no just can put and say it is an insurrection, it was an attempted coup, and even look at the funny thing. They say for let presidents be no land and lunge, the protesters and they want to go dig the airport inside it. How will they even get access into the tarmac? Sometimes let people not talk to we like say we na fulum them. We are not. We condemn any act of protest where they come with violence. in no uncertain terms. And una we are don't also condemn violence. I have always condemned violence, but we were able to create an avenue. Now I make, when I look at the reports, one other side they talk say the Pekin we they use as a shield, and then the government for create an avenue who side they Pekin for express. Why can't you say for the concerns that people make, just like how the Renaissance movement, of which Emmanuel Safar Abdulai, Kenfala Ben Kenfala with the ACC, they were all part of the Renaissance movement. Why can't you say, you know what, this is an opportunity for that include in this report, for let the government continue for create space whereby people are able to articulate their concerns them, so that the issue of protest, how do we address it? Whereby then they cherry pick. Look at Femi Claudius Cole. Then go take in tweet, convert the two different dates same way it been put, combine them, then try for justify for Rupa in as a person of interest. I don't think say this is done for we country any good, because it only creates more what you call a Pandora's box, whereby it creates more questions for we than answers.
So if this committee, you mean this tweet of Femi himself inside this committee, this report?
They even put in tweet as a reason for Rupa in as part of the thing. It then at the annex.
And then combine
that is why I tell you, say, I read it, say it done. I read them from page 1, executive summary to the end. They
so
even bring
in this report, they can get mine for do somebody in tweets, try for manipulate somebody in tweets and put inside report. What else they not can do?
That's dishonesty. That is dishonesty to the highest degree.
So let's look at the composition of this committee again. Inside this committee, then get people they win at they say for all they're responsible for things. For example, the Office of National Security. No security issue they go on at the country where they don't know of, because now they're the coordinator.
So it is like now that I've been telling you, say the reports, the composition of the membership, it even run against the principle of natural justice.
Ex-police officer, military officer,
where
they all get their own interest.
So what do you expect? What do you expect? Even the language, the choice of words.
Commission, the National Peace and Commission for Peace and National Cohesion, even after the thing, we see one woman where they represent them, they don't come and condemn. A lot of people from there, they don't condemn. So what else?
So at the end of the day, even the Legal Aid Board, then come out, then run a narrative. Me, Nayana, Canada, the judiciary, the Ministry of Attorney General and Solicitors General Office na Toronto, where they, then me na a member of the jury, where certain matters and they for go adjudicate them when they need a jury, I could be called upon. I am a satisfied juror. So at the end of the day, one of the requirements is, then they ask you, that matter day, you don't ever be privy to it, even on TV. You don't watch on a TV. The moment you say yes, that particular issue, you then go ask you for recuse yourself because of the potential prejudice where you don't get. But here are people who've already run a narrative on behalf of the institutions. Then you bring them back, you say, you know what?
And look, for example, after the situation, say the caretaker they get engagement with different people. And like all of the people we meet with, for example, meet with the paramount chief them. Then there. I meet with the CCSL, the imam and pastors them. Then there. I meet with traditional leaders. Then there. I meet with ex-police and military. Then there. I meet with CSOs. Then there. Even Sludge. I can remember amongst all of the one them wedding there, so we been be part. The organization will be part of that particular engagement thing. Now only. I don't know why I pick them, because it's very strong. And I want to make them very clear. Not because of the practice, but because of what it say. If you go through all of the statements, them now only the president of Sludge will come out clean and tell the president, say, this nothing we wanna do is very bad. This that the people do is very bad. But if they put them amongst lots of them people who already don't take sides, what are the impact they will create?
Well, you know what? Some of we don't work with Ahmed Nasrallah. And I have a lot of respect for him, because even when Sludge been there as a committee for complements the efforts of the government for we repeal Part 5 of the Public Order Act, me na one of the people in where Sludge contacts will be part of that conversation there for give input. So I have a lot of respect for him because of his stance on national issues, including even the statement where it be go make na that dinner where presidents been called, where say the media dinner. So to me though, one thing where I believe is a report like this, whether it is in the collective or not, this report, we don't miss an opportunity. And they call them a golden opportunity. Because members say, we don't make some efforts. We don't see people them don't go na Bintumani, they say a Bintumani 3, with a view for let them go try for hatch, what you call a National Peace Commission. Natinolu Komode, a day in existence in name. We see a very powerful lawyer, we go speak truth to power, then go after him because we see it talk is not pleasant in the ears of the president.
So look at these persons of interest, for example. You know, then count all audio of the former mayor, you know, outside he talk about this boy Abise, then they link up to this of that of the August 10. Then count with a councillor in video where he not get anything for do with the August 10 because if he makes statements the time where the mayor when they get issue with some people in the government, then bring and come as part of the August 10. But they're not come with anything from the first lady. We talk about mob justice. Anybody we know tell thank you to the caretaker, then go beat them, then go mob justice, and not bring and come. They're not talk about how he make statements. Say anybody we not to SLPP, not to Sierra Leone. They not talk about them. They're not talk about statements them where, for example, Dennis Sandy, where he sit on in office and make an audio. The time where the other McKinney issue been come up, where it divide the country and cost them and talk about how they will continue for the kill people and they not bring and come. Nobody not there the government, you know, supported or supporter or member where they come up with, except for Lilo and Slima. Lilo and Slima we all see as persons of interest. The only reason why made encounter because it not making self available. And in real estimation, it not making self available because if they can't talk something to contradict waiting already, then we don't talk before or waiting in boss we don't say. So they rather left that kind with it and no action not going to be taken against him again.
This is a very important point you raised. Very, very important point. We may not be even think about just now. And imagine if na be APC dey na power right now, then a deputy minister where they invite in no go. The narrative for them be, oh, that minister not they go because he go prosecute him, boss them. He go talk something and we go indict them and rope them in. So in this situation, while Lawrence Lahai Lima not even go, and we not even see, they only say we sent 2 invitations, he didn't appear. And there is no recommendation about what should be done. You don't understand, that one. And to be honest, Emmanuel Safa Abdulai, I have a lot of respect for him. I don't want for even can discuss and
sorry, somebody just they ask me something before you go to Emmanuel Safa Abdulai. Henry Conte just say, what about Austin Johnny? Where if you don't talk clean one, say then go against the opposition people them and then go make sure say then send and go next one. And we don't see anything and they come into practice.
Not so it beaucoup the examples them beaucoup, but I just imagine if Mada Bio been really take this matter serious. And also he get respect for the people and where he appoints na this committee. Then the committee don't put in writing say your deputy minister where allegations in I aid concerning some extrajudicial killings them who call them inaugurate camp. It is like automatically, you know what, Lima, you are out. Instantly. Even though
how that will happen? Where like Marabio, remember before this term, Alpha Side Ubangua, where of course you don't make reference to about the August 10 and Evangelist Samson, where you link the T's and the I's. You know, we don't tell we clearly say a not concern about Uda better, now Uda not better, and a concern about he so much pay attention on violence. But don't look at this thing. Even when Marabio the team up. In West, of all, in West, they talk about violence. Marabio no will ever talk about that. For example, Kailon recently, where he talk about say even the opposition they're not supposed to forget office now, whether they can lead to something else where will create
chaos. It can lead to violence in the country.
But it not ever talk about them. Anything we get for do it, you know, things that way, you know, for example, you ever hear the Marabio talk about the Paremba what is you?
No. In fact, what did they do? Then the president, shall we say, it will do a committee, independent one. But now when they say with the reports, then say, oh, reports don't come on. Then when you probe, then we'll say, oh, the report, the correctional service, then we don't do the new internal report. They were part of the problem.
And
how can they
investigate them? How criminal will
they investigate themselves?
Report?
Yes, so now make us say in journalism, we get what you call gatekeeping. Now we determine what you want for anchor. Now the president don't do a lot of gatekeeping in interest because this one gets political ramifications. You see the premium, the primacy where you attach to them, the importance we attach to this report, the special investigative report. In no time, the report is out. The question then is, where is the report from McKinney? Where the killings then at Tombo, Tonkolimba, Pademba Road, Cambia, Lunge, where are those reports? Are they not Sierra Leoneans that have been killed? We stand to condemn any act of violence, including the death of those police officers, because they died.
The president or the caretaker say sorry to people and we lost their life, even when they refer to them as lawless?
Well, you see, the choice of words come with leadership. And they always tell people, and the words are powerful. But you know what's waiting a million solace? All the people in right now, whether in governance, where they feel say, reading kind reports they are, don't vindicate them, don't exonerate them. They are on a very fallacious journey. They will be held accountable down the road by international justice system. If they feel say they are going scot-free, trust me, they are just. We don't see situation where somebody, they all meeting with woman, they say anybody will feel say, mother not for go for second term, they killer.
Colonel Chairman.
So when you come, you make them kind statements and nobody has held him accountable. Then they can see a report with a lot of...
Who's IG we been there for McKinney and for Pademba Road incident? Sovola.
I think Anna Sovola, yes.
Then you see Sovola in latest gesticulation na America. What's that when they talk about her?
I saw it.
Good. Now the same gesticulation with that of the same sign with
it's
that
the
one
same. But you know what? From me, your understanding, if I can divulge this to the public, people are right now coming together to go on an individual legal action against Sovola now that he's in the States because of human rights violations. So that's, to me, it starts to give me consolation. And even certain people are within our government right now, their names are being associated with a lot, either their statements or by their actions are being associated by some human rights violation incidents, where, of course, now subject of investigations now for make sure, say, when it comes to international human rights, their rights, then the committal of rights anywhere, now a committal of rights everywhere.
So one thing this is important capture. The time where Marabi they get engagement with them stakeholders, them as they refer to them, the just council, traditional leaders, paramount chief. It talks say if anybody say na in the way for overthrown, it go deal with her this wall, it go run after and tell you gonna engrave. And we see how they deal with the cops of the 21 people them where the police or the security forces them send go next one. We see how they put them till they're rotting. We see how they refuse forgive them. That's not a human rights violation.
It is.
But the report not say anything about that.
And it even come to giving the police officers them a civic funeral. They died on the line of duty, and we condemn that violence. Then, equally, families of the people them where they shoot and kill, including one young man within a veranda where they kill. Then they na mortuary, they not get access. We then ask the mortuary people them, they say they not get clearance or let their families and get access to them cops and they. So at the end of the day, you begin to ask yourself, where are we as a country? Even in a national tragedy of that nature, you see the division of the country. Now that make one of the only thing where I seen at the report, we resonate with me thinking, we then say the government for endeavor, for engage the opposition, so that's for the good of the country. I think, say, when I see that one day, I say, okay, at least now you started talking something serious. That is what we need in this country. We need that national cohesion. Anybody will not tell you, say, the state is polarized, that person there, either a day out of space. Imagine, you, your first lady, they go say, And even the chief minister, I don't know who say go say then car free they not agree, they not make phone a road na ya. Hey, but why you go cause a political party? When are your opponents then? Being an opposition shouldn't be enmity. The opposition is part of a democracy. The opposition then voices them, then views them. As long as they are being done constructively, they should be brought and they can even help in the formulation of policies. That is what a democracy is. That is the way we should run our country.
Okay, so you still watch, we are on YouTube and on Facebook, we get ABDULAI BAYRAYTAY, we're a former spokesperson to former caretaker Ernest Bai KOROMA, where they talk to we about the August 10 report, where the government actually don't release. It already that many they try to analyze them based on the flaws them, the things that we see, we're in a missed opportunity for this government again for letting able for bringing people them together, and some of them things in there. So you were the journey right now, you know, we get on YouTube, we find out say the link no go, but we don't get now 639. We don't join we. Please, if you're not part of the one that we don't join, we now for share the program. So more people them they wait for the link still will actually get the opportunity for watch and benefit from this discussion. And we get 182 just all like. Please, when I increase the like for me, and also I can enjoy the way out this we guess they analyze the issue so much that when I forget for like. So please, you will not like the program, please consider for do so. The same goes to the one them on Facebook. We got 310 where they watch right now with 198 and 93 likes. So please now for help me for share the program. Okay, thank you very much. I also say good evening to me colleague, my brother, and you know, me workmate. You know, I just see you now Facebook. Sakumba, how you do? Okay, so let me go and look at other issues then right inside this same discussion. You know, we see Amnesty report tell we last talk for color report, the press release tell we say they're not able to find out wetin exactly the post-mortem results talk about the 21 people we lost their life. So a lot of people been look forward say this report, since now government now set up this particular committee, then for able for make people then get proper understanding of wetin exactly happened to them 21 people in there. But as it is now, we're not able for know. And secondly, the police officer them, they find out say they not release no report about what exactly happened to them. But at the end of the day, we find out say, this report self not talk about them police officer them day, what exactly happened to them. You see anything like that? Maybe I know it that side.
I even surprised that the pathologist, Dr. Kororma, he should have been a member of this committee, because if I don't be in a position for go explain to the committee how they kill them police officers there, waiting the post-mortem report say, waiting the post-mortem report say about the 21 civilians then wait and kill, who that killed them, the type of bullets then we they use, are those exclusive bullets then being used by the police and the military or what? So this is another missed opportunity. But you know what? When we talk about the rule of law, it gets one maxim we say anybody for be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond all reasonable doubt in a competent court of law. But when I see here, they don't already run a narrative. President B.O.B. don't run a narrative. He don't find people then guilty. He don't try them wake up. Then the report can validate within the presidency. That is what this report is about. I have to say it as it is. I am saying it with no regrets, no apologies. But when it comes to issues of good governance and human rights, when we discuss the issues and they will for even go beyond party politics. Because human rights violations are not a big color, are not a big party. The life of an individual is so precious. I only hope the president, you don't come, you say you don't pass, you don't abrogate the death penalty, you don't pull on our law books. Fair enough. But between 2018 to 2023, as I sit on the talk, when you look at the number of state killings and we don't happen, The most notorious one being the Pademba Road prisons and the August 10 demonstrations. Until the governments come own, it take responsibility and not to let them say you are right as a government, then the other side is wrong. It will only promote divisiveness, and addressing human rights will be challenging because the governments need for take them serious. Afterwards, the governments not only get the political mandate for address human rights, but it is also a constitutional issue because the right to life is in our constitution of Cap 6 of 1991. And Sierra Leone is also a party to international instruments like the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. And Sierra Leone is also a party to the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So all of this combined, including the ECOWAS protocols on good governance, democracy, and and the rule of law, and of course the African Union. So if right now Sierra Leone is even the chairman of the committee of 10 at the African Union, following the Ezulwini consensus and the SAT declaration, for let we able come to the United Nations so that Africa will get 2 permanent seats in the Security Council with voting rights and all the privileges then the same country where all that chair, where they see all the human rights violations and they imagine how President Bio de Sidon in a quiet moment, they reflect on all the implications of all the reports them with Amnesty, the press release pool, the State Departments and pool, and other ancillary bodies in the world. How did they really say, is that making us proud as Sierra Leoneans? No, I would say I'm not proud. And I'm saying this beyond party politics. I am saying this as a Sierra Leonean with stakes in the democracy, good governance, and the rule of law of my country.
Sorry, we as well find out, say, the report talk about how the old machetes, the old gun and other things them, but no evidence from where they begin talk, from the day one where they begin engage, international community, they don't ever show any of the protesters them we all gone except for that green where na been put we don't die in Nigeria like from 1992 or 1993 and then put amongst the people that was wanted will be all gone and that is a musical clip be the shoot in country but then put them but this committee confirm again waiting the president talk say they be all gone and then be all other things there, but they're not able for show any evidence say that this person and be all gone and we don't charge them or we this not the post the name of the post will be all gone or this not the photo of the post will be all gone except for that one will be die in Nigeria.
I wish I for don't be part of this committee on a pro bono basis. I for able to bring a political science lens for look at the social, the economic, the political ramifications. And waiting one sociologist, John Dollard, if I can go into academics, talk about when people they are frustrated, when the economic situation is dire, there is a link between the way people react to their economic challenges than they, and the way that they react in the form of protest. So there is that inextricable link. And we don't see boku write-ups them to the effect. For can't just tell we say, create employment for the young people them. It go beyond that. Create the political space wherein the many millions of jobs where President Bio don't promise the young people and will not happen. Create a space inside the young people and will able to come and vent out their frustration, because frustration can able lead to anger, and that is what John Dollard in theory come up with. Now I can always tell people, they say, when they say Sierra Leone is peaceful, we are talking about the negative peace in the country. We talk about negative peace right now.
Under this thing where they talk about the economy, I see something very interesting and important. It just make I go back to it. You say this report just validates what the government they do. For example, and say they recommend say the government for continue for implement for everything where they say that continue. So like the government not ever do any, the people they not ever do or they not demand for anything where the government not they do. Like for example, two bullet points. They say government should continue fiscal adjustment, should continue fiscal adjustment and the management of debt to reduce economic vulnerabilities. The second bullet point say government, they say continue to implement policies. The word continue, they come frequently. Continue to implement policies that will reduce the impact of COVID-19 expenditure and other, global shocks on the economy and improve livelihood. This other one they say support small and medium, enterprise to become, engines of economic growth. And this not the thing the way they say that this other one will take two last one. That's also continue. It's like the government they do all of them things that people and they say, but the people and no one for appreciate. This one they say continue to work on a national strategic to strengthening financial, products and services with the view to reduce the burden of government of Sierra Leone, small medium enterprise financing. And the last one I will take for now because they boku is a continue to develop and implement policies and will, beanbag, economic shock and vulnerabilities to strengthening the economic recovery. So all of the things where this report is saying are like it speak like a government rather than independent committee.
But that is the summary I gave you. If I were to write an executive summary to critique this report, I would say the report was and is a validation of the political narrative held by the President Madabio and his government. And when you look at the president, from where he talked, Julia Jallo talked, the vice president, and all the other PR people, and when they talk, they not ever contradict themselves. And the same scripts that they read from. And the unfortunate thing, which was another missed opportunity, don't get me wrong, on a one-to-one basis, there are certain people here where I don't work with. I have worked with them when I've been there in governance and even when I was in civil society and a campaign for good governance. I worked with them. I know their stance. But for let them can be associated with this kind of reports, it is unfortunate because you don't want to validate what is being said. I only wish them for don't come with even an independent lawyer. Where for don't come, where no, they don't give a narrative on what happened with the protester. That way you go able to say, you know what, with the account. But even the methodology that is used, I'm a social scientist. With me, they go into this, you go do focus group them. If I critique that, who are these participants? How did you arrive at these participants? Do they know the issues they are talking about? Are they going to be fair to say it is a government that is coming to interview us? Are you going to get the bigger picture to vindicate themselves and rather rope in other people? What are the implications? How do you arrive? These are all that is not even mentioned in this report.
So to me, something we very much so continue. So Endo.
So for me, this report, I just don't put it right now at the radar. And they put a critic on it. The other narrative would then give government for work with the opposition, for try to improve the economy. These are all the political statements we might be don't make. But eventually today, we day about 70-something days to elections, the economy day in an abysmal situation. You they say sugar na 999. Sugar today, where I send for let them buy from the neighborhood them now 1,070,000.
Okay, so that might be yesterday figure I give you give you one today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, something very, very, very much interesting. Where I see that they are just boss laugh. I not know if this thing for Fenixef into the report. Then say one of the easy way make the former mayor become persons of interest now because a help for fast and pray for against the government.
Maybe they don't know Yvonne Akisoya. If they know Yvonne Akisoya, now a street stalker. Where it be one come out, where they say, then they go investigate in office. Ain't not afraid. It say the same thing you are investigating me for, and I delivered. It is not like look at the receipts, the way the money was expended and how much I brought in. The same thing, go and visit the Auditor General's report. The same issues were mentioned about the First Lady. That was the way Akisoya they talk. For level you say because they call fast and prayer. The committee for even happy say oh, fast and pray. Then for peace for the country. then you say because he called for fast and prayer, therefore it is a way of supporting, and not see no correlation.
Well, not so like in call, but it support the fast and prayer because of the name they make.
Yeah, they say because. But Sengbe Pierre, you know what? You see, I wish the president, when I study leadership, when I study who makes a good leader, do not just go with the momentum or the pulse of the people, waiting and talk, or your people and where they support you, waiting and say. They become emotional, and when you become emotional, the next thing is you make statements way later you not go able to withdraw. So this report, all waiting President Bio say, now then just go validate for them. Now they feel good, say, yes, I said it. And the report has also said it. It's wrong. And some of us will be there to criticize it. If it is in the best interest of the people, particularly when I don't indicate, say, it even go against the norms of natural justice, because you go McKinney, for instance, the people in where you don't name, you not even make the venture for go talk to them. Then how is this report valid?
And one of the people where they point finger at strongly now the PPP and the Adebayo. But according to them in the young press release, they say they not even contact them, but then come into conclusion.
Well, at the end of the day, this not the challenge. You know, I feel I'm for
and like for me, in my opinion, they see they like enemies, so they don't need for contact them. They just need for draw conclusion.
I feel I'm way. I see certain names then at this committee where they associate themselves in this report. And they say I'm with all sincerity. You know, our country will forget people and win role models. That liberalism will don't pass that stage. These are very important national issues where we lost police officers we lost civilians their families and they pamooning them. That post where government say for go give the people and we die, people will maybe all amount of respect, but that is not. Then they in adequate trauma, then they in bereavement, their families then they mourn, then they suffer right now. Then they can't constitute a report, then we're not able to get the real thrust of it, but tell the burden. I tell you just now about the rule of law. The burden of proof should not be on me again. If you allege, you for proof. So now me for can't prove say yes, me family member, we go up and protest them. Me family member we sit down on me veranda. Now shoot them, kill them. And Evangelist Samson, they shoot her from the back. Or no, sometimes now the protest people and then kill them because they know how they hold them for let you go talk something them. That is the most disingenuous approach ever and narrative that I have seen in this report. And I will call it out because it's not good for a country, it's not good for democracy, and it will continue for compromise the human rights of a country. Because when I read and they talk, say, the Human Rights Commission don't assume a status A, I know what a status A means. It is like you are pioneering for make sure, like the international instruments, you work with them so that they could be domesticated internally in your country.
But not to the first thing is for the human rights of Salon gets.
That's what I'm saying. When I was in information ministry, I hold press conference, I spoke a lot about it. So not to news for me. The news for me is those state institutions should be seen to be independent, that if the government's wrong, therefore able to come and call out the government, say it is wrong. Now, the only way when you speak truth to power, that is where we will able to move this country forward.
But interestingly, I not see them find themselves into this report, into this committee. And I remember themselves now be one of the few women talk about some things them where
they make a narrative, yes.
Where the
they
government
spoke about it.
And the government not go like about them.
No.
And so they're not bringing inside the
talk, so they don't bring the inside.
So all the one they bring inside the report. All the one they bring inside the report, the one they we don't support.
The membership was well crafted. It was designed. Oh yes, BAYRAYTAY already been done.
So how on earth you bring with human rights issue of that nature, you not bring human rights commission inside?
That is an irony. And they also talk about young people. In this committee, it is like young people, they no matter. They are only meant to be for Lewy, that demagoguery approach in governance. where we talk, they should listen. We don't pass that stage. The voices of the young people must be factored. They should be heard. They should be seen. Not only be seen, but their voices are very key, because when you look at the statistics today in our country, even the voting population, the young people that constitute the majority. So this is where the report, we need a young person we non-partisan, we not to APC, not to SLPP, or not to NGC. So that at the end of the day, it will able to come with the genuine voices of the people them of a young constituency, when at the youth population. But when you look at this, it is like we are deciding for the young people. That upward, downward trend of governance is wrong. Now we talk about participatory democracy. That is the new vogue.
All right. Continue for the with inside the program. In name is ABDULAI, BayraYTay, in the former and spokesman for the former caretaker Ernest Bai. We join me inside the program today. We get 71,409. People that we don't subscribe to the channel, where we call family members. So please, we get target for each 100,000, and we just get one more month for each 100,000, because one for each 100,000 for meet up the election. So please, if you're not subscribing to this channel, please consider for subscribe, because you get the best of information them as we go down, especially the 2 weeks inside the election. You get the best of information. And we get 771 when they watch we on YouTube with 273 likes. Please now for increase the likes for we, and also you enjoy the program so much that you don't forget. So please increase the like button, because not only when you like the program, it motivate we for able for come with more people, or for let we say self studio and analyze the issues them, call names them, talk about the opposition, talk about the government, how what they do, we're not in the interest of the people them, where we actually not hesitate for talk about now. So, and on Facebook we get 365 with the watch we right now with 284 likes. Please increase the likes for we and share the program. Thank you very much on all. We always done the support we for let we actually go to the point where we want for each. And we can take few calls, because this is not fast month Ramadan, and based on the time ABDULAI BayraYTay right now, it gets few more minutes for go breaking fast. So we go on for actually take few calls, then quick one. Please let's go straight to the point and address your issue. Now 1 minute no more, because one for getting man chance let himself go cut in fast. Halal, it haram for let you get time for let you cut fast, and you see them the time pass. Say halal at all. Haram thing down day. So you will find let we be part of that system day. So me phone the vibrate. Let's just get them please for now off the vibration mode. And start for take call. This one will be exemption. Alright, so let me go on the line and take the first call. Welcome to the show. Your name and inside the call from. You get 1 minute. Go straight to the point, please.
Good evening. I call from Riyadh.
Alright, you get 1 minute. Go
I want to say plenty thank you to Mr. BayraYTay, because he don't do well. He don't analyze the issue. From yesterday, I don't tell you how you go form committee for let them investigate you. Go use party people. Safana Karkaya, the SLPP. Then they alone don't discredit the entire committee where they set up. Then when you watch the same Safan has now been Secretary General for the Renaissance movement. Safan them in a Black Friday where they give Safan rights and come on, go na Kotitri, make all kind way. The past regime not do them nothing. Why this time where people want show waiting the government they do, where they not okay with? If for come up with issue.
All right.
So when you watch the people, it's already they call already and they do so. Already and they do so. That make me not to get the committee. Waiting matter be wants. Now in the committee pool.
Thank you very
That's
much.
all.
God bless you, my brother. We go to another call quickly. Welcome to the show. Your name and also the call from, please. You get 1 minute.
Yeah, this night EU.
EU, welcome. You get 1 minute. Go ahead quickly.
Well, so, Mr. BayraYTay, thank you for the breakdown. The question to you, such a report where the government of Sierra Leone don't give. So, Udana, the external body, we go review the reports they end after the review. Then go reply to the government of Sierra Leone, or not just a report we just go stay at the government level.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you go take note of that. A very sensitive and important question for let we actually waiting. Welcome to the show. Your name and inside the call form. You get 1 minute. Sorry, you name and inside the call form. I'm not getting.
I admire too much, okay. At the APC. Thank you very much for the breakdown of these reports. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. My own pledge, we are the pledge to you, sir. You give vast experience like governance, man with humanitarian feelings. Agwale will help this APC party government, standing for come back in power. Please, not that I plead to you. Because your voice is very, very important. Dear sir, not that I get for you, sir. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you, sir.
All right, let all and be quick. We'll take and then views there quickly. Let address them. I get interested in this last one, in this last comment of this person. We get how many days more for let me see the election. You get any plan for that thing there? You get plan for go and help in the campaign?
Yes, this person, before I go to the first caller in terms of reviewing the report, I think say, let God bless him. Na person way, even if he know they Sierra Leone, I don't know in location, but na person way get Sierra Leone in best interest at heart. Because he go don't sit down and no say the current government not good for the people of this country. And based on that, and many other appeals, I dey give you my word publicly 100% that I will be in Sierra Leone. I'll go join the media team. I will go and challenge issues them so that all the propaganda and lies all these governments they come with will be able to come with evidence or counter them so that the people them will be able to tell and say, listen, the new direction we have been voted for, now a misdirection. The APC is the only party who will able to listen to and cries them and work with you now for address the many challenges that the country face. So I make that promise publicly today.
All right, the issue of the review of the report.
Like waiting we had don't do so. This is a golden opportunity for where we come publicly and discuss this report. So that some of the things that we did, if people will not come and challenge them and review them, the government will just take that report, say hook, line, and sinker for say, you know what? But look, we've been talking. Look, at the investigative report, they don't talk. But now, they will not say alternative voices, they don't come. We don't bring out some of the inconsistencies, the prejudice, and the violation of the principle of natural justice in this report. So this one would keep them as archives, then kind in there. So for say the government, whether an independent body, then they up to them. Maybe President Biogo say, okay, you know what? I don't see una report. Now I come get a very high person, the judge, we independent. We're not afraid for speak truth to power. We don't retire. We don't get no interest again. Whose government's in a power. So that some of the recommendations and when the report say, therefore do further investigation, that person they will come for review this report here and bring in all the missing links them. And people and we they not talk to, they not talk young people, they not come, they not talk to them. That way we go able to seize this opportunity here. But because them don't do now, I think say now we APC here for do this now.
All right. Let's take few calls then now, just one set of calls then, and then you will just address the issues them one and for all. Let me go on the line. Answer no? Caller, hold on to the line of okay. Hello, caller, you name and where you call from?
Yes, how to go there? How do you do?
Will you try yourself? You get 1 minute, go ahead quickly.
Okay, because one thing, me, I'm fed up with this political issue.
Okay.
At how this political talk, what for they think about one thing first will make me fed up. All the past government, all this government, they all who they fed for. Nothing all the way cover diaspora. We will do overseas. You understand?
Mm.
We participate so much that to people the money will they send at the economy, but nothing no cover. We look what Taki they take
wait. How this all get for do with the report what they discuss?
Well, let me say I want to talk to this man. I want to send text message.
Okay, so we send another term. Lo discuss that issue, they please. Lo just focus on the report first.
From 1960, we will take independence to still let talk about politics.
But I will talk about the lives of people and let me talk about your issue later. Thank you. We'll focus on the report and we stick to the report for now. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, this is Abdulai call from United States.
All right, Abdul, go ahead, please.
Hello, Shingi Pierre. Hello, BayraYTay. How are you do? If Manabio acts on these reports, he use them for jail people them or kill people them. If another government come in power, you feel say they go hold them people are responsible for the kind false evidence we then get to Manabio? Now that's my question. Thank you, bye.
Thank you. We go to another call quickly. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from. You get 1 minute.
Yeah, Mr. Aliyu and Mr. BayraYTay, good evening.
How do you do? You get 1 minute. Go ahead, please. Your name and where you call from.
Yeah, I go really thank Mr. BayraYTay and what you don't see, because right now a lot of people think say Sierra Leone don't become a North Korea. King John Bio don't they put the country into police state. And then if the power get for change, how Mr. BayraYTay go with all anything the way he plans say na he go do, so that those who are responsible to bring this system and the country, now we country, more take them to book.
Thank you very much. We go on the line again and take another call. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from. You get 1 minute.
Yes, consensus is the call from Weird.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, me I not get that for say because Salon, you know they take criminal for investigating company criminal. That's not come out better. The only two will be the try for say CVPA. When I thank you for the good job, Mr. BayraYTay don't analyze everything. Mr. BayraYTay will be there as a spokesman for the government. Certain critical question they don't be the answer, but we get we be the answer question. They don't be they use word like the information minister. You get some fearful word that they can talk. You get where you can go to a radio station, can talk with people there. You can go one word they can use some call offing and puffing. It can really moan away, but no way no for do. But one thing we want to out of context. So yesterday you wanna be talk concerning the flag bearers there.
So I will beg you for keep planning for another day. Hello, just talk about the lives of people for today. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem, sir.
Please, I want you to take note of this particular thing on the information minister. I want basically we'll talk about the role of the information minister, how he's supposed for presenting himself to the public, and that of this particular one we'll get to right now, please. Yeah, and maybe not only this minister of information, plenty other government officials then, but we can't do that quickly. Let's just take a few calls then quickly. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from. You get 1 minute.
Yeah, consensus they call from the United States.
You get 1 minute, sir. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah, actually, I mean the program don't go far. Me one question to Mr. BayraYTay. I want to know this committee where they see them from. We come up with this result. Now comprised of religious body,
yeah,
and any religious body was there.
Yes, then be did it. And if in fact then we don't take sides before ever they put in at the committee. Then be did it.
So they're not able to say anything. Then just put them normal because for second look.
No, then say something because all of waiting then at the report now they all put them together.
Now they say well then a disgrace to them people then they me not Christian. If I know say na me pastor, me bishop, then at that place I not go that church again because God go judge them.
Alright, thank you very much.
Yeah, and so the Bible says if you don't know, you don't know. But when you know what thing that person they do, not go be not follow up.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Yeah.
Quick one minute. We go to another call. Welcome to the show. Hello. You get 1 minute.
You don't laugh. Why do you laugh me?
No, not to your laugh. Just smile. You get 1 minute, please. Don't go.
Okay. Thank you for smiling to me. Now one question. I want to ask one question because without this issue, I want to know if not true, if not true. Lima, not true, you don't disappear in the country.
Okay, so then the myself not going for confirm right now because me and Lima not can talk and I'm not can see him, so I'm not going for confirm that one day.
Okay. And number two, then people have already been presented yesterday where they said they do investigation for that 8 to 9, 10 August. They all then are the negative side from the presidential from the government. So
We may not say nothing really come out of that investigation when a truth thing or better thing. So now arrest me. I'm not going for that man. I don't talk everything. You don't go on the table. Don't talk
very
well.
much. God bless you. We go on the line again and take another call quickly. When call to the show, name and the call for me. Get 1 minute.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you know, the question of what the Israel and say mother must go, they say that it tantamount to treasonable offense. Because I don't see who say who in our brother, who don't follow up in CNN, different parts of the world where they say this particular leader, you see the banner where they put on this person must go. When I protest, and whatever attribute them people they say in a treasonable offense they don't commit. But at every own situation, they say because of that slogan people them they use, that is a thing people them make. So around is military justify that statement, whether that statement they don't it tantamount to coup or treasonable offense. Because don't say now every part of the world, they never accuse them people they say them people they coup the one because they are overthrown government.
All right, thank you very much. I'll take 5 more calls starting from here. One, welcome to the show. Name and the call from yes, ma'am.
How do you even? Are they calling me?
All right, welcome, ma. You get 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, you not mix for me 1 minute. These people, the way they look you plenty. You think say me, particularly me, I don't like you because when they talk against me, party. So you not go get likes for me. So if I come now you for something and then I for watch get information for care go na various camp. Number 1.
Okay, so who's party are they talk against?
Yeah. Number 2, what here the guy for say I see people they mortgage their integrity. You know ever be this like how we see am this thing. Integrity no day, standard no day, morals no day. People left for so loyal to them party that even any president, this is not even about the party. This they're loyal to one green person and they're afraid for tell the man true at the expense of the nation. It is sad. It's really sad. We pray to God, make people lay eye open because if this continue, then they kill we all in that country. They like a dog. We all get for that in that country. Now that's not what we get for see.
Thank you very much.
It's sad. It's sad.
All right. I want to make a disclaimer quickly. This woman just to tell for make fun say because I they talk about against them party, so they're not gonna like me and they're not gonna like the program. So please, when I look focus and stick to the issue and don't forget about any thing we person they say. Yeah, log on the line and take 4 more calls. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
No bad. But there's something where I want to ask. Some of we been go register for the voters ID card. So what they mean time for them we go collect their card, yeah, we go down salon for go collect them, then go change another date. So and so when they buy ticket, you go, you get for return to the time. So we get for return the dates pass way. Now we're not able to go again. What will go happen to we not able to go again for collect ID card this time?
I will use this as an exceptional case for address and quickly because it's very important. Okay, so after we then don't distribute the card and done after the dates don't pass, and if you still go, you get the opportunity for going to any one of the regional office, make a request and then they will give you ID card. As long as you get all of the information, then suppose and by law then forgive you ID card. Like you.
Okay, I feel so much go do again. I mean, this one get.
Then does that go take at the center, but you could go to the regional. If you did, for example, inside Freetown, I think the regional na Wellington. Yeah, so you can go to Wellington.
Me na Firestone I've been registered.
Yeah, so you can go to Wellington, yeah, because of Freetown Obanda one day. You can go to Wellington, okay. By that how they call them Brewery. Yeah, that is the office there, ECSL, the office. You can go there and make a request and can give you yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, that is very important. Just take as exceptional case. But I'll go back and take 3 more calls. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from. You get 1 minute. Caller, you did live. Caller, please listen to we. You did live. You did the volume of your set. You did live. You
sorry, please, because what to make sorry because I been time for talk about say too much political issue is too much. Now, not look for the way forward. You see this woman called the time for talk about your own party. What are the time for say? Let me look for the way forward. Now these people look this report to them give. When you check the names, the people they all come out the south and east. You know they see one northern and day. You understand? One way people and fail for realize the world don't so civilized that you can't lie. Everything with mobile phone, everything they out. We see the reports. We know the salon, but we see the reports. Everybody will say by the surname you don't know. But how not go give reports like so nobody from the north?
All right.
You understand?
Yes.
So nothing will they change.
Okay.
If this government, what will they look to now? The opposition. You understand? What will they look to now? Now will they look to them for civilize everybody? Make them not make mistake again. Make them not say we live in a global communication in a global world.
Right.
Make them maintain.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Yeah.
No, wait. Normally, now 110 person can get opportunity for making point.
I know.
So
I'm
please,
sorry.
next story you come, go straight to the issue where you talk about. If not blue mind, you
yes,
talk about
I'm
anything.
sorry. Because what happened, I check and say, no, not the waste time again on political issues.
Let's on a politics time. We can't avoid that for now.
Okay. We all the see, bro. Look this report to the give. No, not
all right. And ABDULAI Bayraitay don't take point of that. They will address that. Thank you very much. And they take two more calls. Welcome to the show. Your name and answer the call from. You get 1 minute. You need the volume of your set, and then you do it live now.
Yeah, hello. Okay. Call from Germany,
okay.
Berlin.
Yes, go ahead. You get 1 minute. Sir.
Yes. I just get a short question. Concerning the ID card.
Okay.
Because my friend in Galpic, collecting ID card, but now other dates of birth. Now them put new dates of birth, and put other dates of birth.
Okay, so the only question I will ask you, in name and in face correct? In name and in face correct?
Yes, the name and the face correct.
So now,
the date of
that word where we can say, unalo manage ID, so just take your ID card and go vote. But the date of birth no go and bug you for vote at all. But just take them and go.
Yeah,
if
what
about
about the data? Because if they want check the data, if they want check, not the date of birth and get for put.
So we all know say the ECSL system is flawed, a rubbish for now. So what me go tell you say if you do, go to the how they call it, National Registration Commission or so. Outside then they do national ID card, get your ID card, and then your information will be right.
Okay.
So for now, ECSL information now rubbish, not good for any consumption. And just for this election, and then we'll forget about them. Thank you very much. God bless you. I'll take one last call. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from. Release the volume of your set already. You don't use 6 seconds. Your name and where you call from. I'll go to another call. Quickly, where you call, make sure so you listen to your phone and not to the set. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you call from. You get 1 minute.
Yeah, I call from Washington.
All right.
Shall Pierre, good evening. What I want to say, I just want to make a small scenario. Now, 2 people make palaver. Don't call witness. The case go to court. The 2 people don't get witness. So they kick them. Usually the witness them now they can't talk exactly what happened because the father say each one go talk in favor of himself, each one go talk in favor of himself. So in this case, now the people versus the government. August 10, the people versus the government. They'll get witnesses them. The witnesses then the Amnesty International, American Embassy, the EU, and all the other departments them. Now, these are foreigners. They not be part of the thing. They sit down, they see, and they come, then count their reports. They say, according to their reports, they say the government now wrong the people them. If the government go count their own reports, and not able for counter, they witness their own reports because any case will not get witness, not to case. But we all case this August 8, August 10, and from the 8th upwards till to the 14 or 15, they get witness, and the witness them now the international body, Amnesty International, now witness, and they don't testify say the government wrong and the government wrong.
Thank you very much. Brilliant point. I appreciate you. We're not taking any further calls again. Very sorry for the one the way they try for come inside. We're not able to take call because the guests get for actually go and breakfast. Sorry about that. Very, very much sorry. based on the last caller, the international community, yes, and in fact, the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication self, now one of the greatest witness, the way I will tell you for real, say, I can make use of, because even if no one for testify, audio can testify, can be witness, for the people of this country, yeah, because that was that particular audio now summarize everything. It summarized everything. Mr. Bayrayrtay, maybe we can start with this one first before you go to the other questions the way people answer. This man, they try for talk about witness, international community, and me look at the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication.
You mean the Deputy Internal Affairs?
No. The Deputy Minister, when the thing happened, he come and tell you exactly who side then missed the point. Solomon Jamiru.
Jamiru, yes.
Yes, it tell we who side they miss the point. What thing for we don't do for prevent such happenings,
In fact, I am even surprised that he was not called someone to go talk to the committee for tell we waiting inform that audio day.
And they don't even make mention of that audio day inside the report.
No, the audio won't come with that for pacified people. It talk for calm nerves.
Yes.
For talk calm. You see, when you gain a power, they always say this. Arrogance, no good. Imagine when me been there as presidential spokesman, I've been there information, because I get access to the mic, therefore, I for just cause people and now I talk one kind way where I for talk to people then. At the end of the day, are you prayed you bid? Now so you did don't do. But because I carry myself in such a way that even when I disagree with you, I know they go belittle you. And they make sure say, I use that as an opportunity for educate you instead. Maybe you they talk out of ignorance. You don't know. But when you listen to the ministers then, some of them, you they see the arrogance. Look, somebody, the chief minister, they go say, oh, then car free they are, they don't even make this so there. Why you focus we because of the opposition? Why? We not to car free them. We now Sierra Leoneans and just like you only become a chief minister by default because somebody will become a president, he appoint you. That is it. Then, when you left power, when you arrogant with the people, are you calm now so the people and they welcome you? President KOROMA today, the reason we make any side we go people and they hail them, then they accommodate them, the international community even gear international functions and for perform. Now because he left office with dignity and respect. And with that respect, then I all they gear. So at the end of the day, the issues they won't identify, like the reports only now opposition members then. President Bio come, he labeled the opposition saying that insurrectionists and terrorists. In fact, the only one who are not seeing that the reports are the terrorists. But all the vocabulary way he used, all day inside this report, then they target all the people and we then bring with, then say that APC operatives them. So it is like trying to validate already what the president has insinuated. Then what about the information minister? We don't talk about that. And who comprise the committee? You don't talk about that. The Interreligious Council Representative Day. Then Madam Osbogo, na political statement. The Renaissance movement, when they go demonstrate na cotton tree, we been the State House. We come out, we can't talk to them. So because they become very close to State House, we will say, oh, now the SLPP don't send them, now could they want to come? No. You are just being, you just exaggerate unnecessarily and create fear in the people and contradict. You many travels them as president where you don't make say, you try for go bring investors them for we, then you say you country get terrorists them. Who want to go and invest in a state where terrorists are? Nobody will want to do that. Then somebody say, Bayrayrtay, thank you. I appreciate this. For me, I they do this in as much as I they welcome with humility the thank yous, I they do them for my country. I've been getting the option, I they all the way to Canada and I go sit down like other people, and they know they talk. We had, then they sit down, nobody know they pay them, nobody know they finance them, then they use their own personal resources them, then create a studio, for create a platform for Sierra Leoneans. Then do that because they're passionate and care about country. I think say when we do that as a nation, irrespective of who you dey, whether you're in the diaspora, I think say you will still contribute to nation building. Then when governments change, what will we go do? This is not just an investigative report, but I will say it is an unfinished report because some of the recommendations and say let government continue for investigate because they don't know whether extrajudicial killings they happen. And when they say extrajudicial killing, now that killing where you dey kill somebody, where you not bring them for accuse them of anything and try them, and by law say if or die. And now even with death penalty, no they again as Sierra Leone. So when they kill anything and they become extrajudicial killing. So I just don't make say them people and they will die. Whilst we condemn violence in no uncertain terms, we should also make sure that people are held accountable for the killing of the police officers and also those civilians who were unsuspecting and innocently killed, including that young man waiting at that veranda where they go shoot and kill. Then the other question, would them be in them black jeep then day, where they put curfew after then demonstration, where they go and pull people them, where they say them be they kill people them. I don't see that as well. All they say Lima Bindede with one other RSL officer when at Kebi. That is very incomplete. I would not write such a report. If I've been in a classroom and for mark this report, I'll fail this report. I'll fail it. Maybe I'll give it maybe a C or C+. Because it failed for giving the thrust of it, and it only can validate waiting President B already don't say.
So, like you don't say in the beginning, the report only they talk about waiting there in the interest of the government, and any other thing we know they in the interest of the government, they not capture them. Just like the Pademba or just like the McKinney, anything we know they in the interest, or we go implicate or indict
they are not
the government.
Interested.
They're not
interested.
Yeah.
And all lives do matter. And that statement, the matter must go, it's a political statement. He must go because he has failed the country. The question for me is, how should he go? It should go through the consensus effort of Sierra Leoneans so that they can kick him out of office through the ballot box, because we are practicing a democracy right now. He came through the ballot box, he should also be kicked out of the ballot box. So that is the question. I wish the committee, instead of making a blanket statement, for say, oh, they say madam must go, therefore they want overthrow. How do you arrive at that, the cause and effect relationship? Did you ask the question, those people holding the madam must go, what do they mean? You never probe that question. Now that make us say, you get for do what you call a qualitative research. When you do that kind of research, you go into the thrust of the matter. But when you do that, you miss the old garbage because they were so much in a hurry to pull a report, for endorse the political narrative where the presidents don't make for go after the opposition, and they needed a report like this to justify it. But you know what? When we come into governance, we'll make sure say the people and we die, their souls they no go in vain, including the police officers and those innocent civilians as well, who for know who that they're responsible.
So who that they responsible and waiting cause the death, una get interested to find out.
Thank you. I'm very interested to know that.
Okay. So
and how did they die? Who killed them? How they die? The police officers them, they say they died through bullets. The civilians them, how they die? Evangelist Samson will say something and kill him because they no one they can't talk because he knows so much.
Anyway, they wait, for example, where Alex have the body don't day for a long time now gone, then going for find out how he died or the kind bullet where kill him.
Alekna 20 years, then get what they call exhumation.
Yes,
they pull them back and they do and they can do a forensic analysis. That is something we do here. In my work, certain cases they already handle now. Who they call them people? The pathologists, they come, they give opinion. If they go see body, wait on day for donkey years, then go bury somewhere, where they pull the skeleton, then they can do forensic science on them. Then they're able to establish the cause of death.
Okay, let me ask you lastly before I let you forgo. The issue of yesterday we been trying to analyze the issue of Marabio in official tour we call working visit. And then we see outside the opposition saying how they not able to do any toilet. For example, from the Terwe Samoa, Komot, na McKinney and Cam, they not able to do anything like thank you tour or no nothing. But the question where I ask now, because lot of people in concern say they will stop like what them been doing for a stop check Kokona Kailan. Illegal at all for somebody do if we go telling people and thank you.
Of course. In fact, they say a thank you tour. It was not a thank you tour. They have started effective campaigning in where they go talk, all meeting them, then they go campaign. We don't see the financial sector, they all they go, then they go and campaign. It is under the guise of distributing parts. We don't turn a political weapon. It is wrong. And this is therefore, the opposition should also have the space. You create the space. Dr. Samura Kamara, we as APC for also able to go right around the country after the convention of McKinney, where then go elect all officials them for go on a thank you talk to the reason being people in common all over the country where they converge on McKinney for go get to executive them. It therefore makes sense for let we go for right around the country. And that is something some of us will push for let we take so that to flag bearer for able to go across the country for go tell people and thank you before we go into the elections.
All right. I appreciate you. Anything the way we left out to you, maybe you want to touch on a little bit?
To be honest, I just want to say this report, let we look at the rule of law. People should be seen to be innocent until proven guilty. And this report, some effort should have been made for let them talk to people and with their name as people of interest. But when you go talk to them, for instance, like McKinney, then it's like even you don't violate the natural justice principle. But it was a missed opportunity. But not all is lost. We will come and discuss the issues in there using we own small sense we'll get for analyze political issues of this nature, then for also call on the government and take responsibility when it comes to human rights violations. But at tell plenty thank you to we had, particularly using BPF for create this platform, where Sierra Leoneans them across the board able to call and contribute to issues them where they affect in our country. And the promise is we are going to be very vigilant, encouraging the people to collect their voter ID cards. People therefore come out for vote. No political intimidation. I'm glad the way Washington, the US, they don't send a high-power delegation for say the eyes of the US that they on Sierra Leone, and also the elders them like ECOWAS, the former presidents them.
You know the thing again. I will still one for because we know the ways you don't all used to know they left you. We want people in for actually they add sense to the discussion them and to some of the rubbish they can talk at times. We now we are.
You are talking very solid stuff, trust me.
we want to follow that they can add sense to that. So on the issue of the international community, the interest so far where they don't set, where they don't put, where they don't declare the interest on this particular election. We'll get for fair another day for talk about them. Because this I don't know if it is sending a signal at all, but I'm not ask you for any comments on that right now.
Thank you. My last word is Ramadan Mubarak, and let God give you the blessings of the Ramadan as we move towards the end. And I appreciate this opportunity and the callers them, both the tough questions and the complimentary ones. I appreciate you now all. Your voices are important in national development. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
All right, thank you very much for joining me inside the program today. In name now ABDULAI BAYRAYTAY, the former spokesman for the former caretaker na Ernest Bai KOROMA. We been they analyze the different issues them actually where the reports say and it don't come and expose certain flaws them, certain weaknesses, certain biasness. Remember this is not the exact words them way the police use against the amnesty report. Well, it don't come and tell we say the report it actually gets a lot of questions where it will get for us. In fact, you don't ask some of the question and they way they look forward for say how best they can able to get answer on their issues. And thank you very much on all we don't take nothing for call. And please we appreciate you now, but we're not able to forget more people there because of the time. And I want to say sorry to some of you we don't make it time for call, but we're not able to come inside. Very sorry. And so some of you we actually come inside, but we have the list on our radio there or television, sorry, or on our phones them not able to listen to where we will run out of time. Very sorry. Well, right now we get 920 with 375. Please, before we because we already they leave, but before now they sign out and sign off, please when I give you likes, we'll actually get something like 700 likes on YouTube, and on Facebook we get 369 we watch you right now with 362 now. Thank you very much. We appreciate you all. Well, until we meet again, it's another beautiful edition of the program we call We Are. Tomorrow we get to program now for blow your mind. The truth you get for saying, and no matter what, the truth you get for saying. Try save the future, the truth you get for saying. And no matter what, the truth you get for saying. Can blow your mind. Please, please, please increase the likes. 395, please. We'll give you 700 likes. 300, please, 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 with a big one, please, okay? Something the way as I talk today, I intend for do. Now for see all of the one they waiting at the committee, most of them, the statement and way they don't make the same way they not be put it in the committee, where they be represent a different committee them, and where they be they talk to the caretaker and state house. We'll come and talk about all of them things today. So please we work on that one day for see how best we can come back and expose some of them people and they based on waiting and say and how some of them reports and they then things they didn't talk how we influence this report. Yeah. Well, thanks to the team, Sister Admin and the rest of you, the family members, them, you know, the management team. Until we meet again, my name is Ernest Bai, the freedom fighter. Thanks one more time to our guest we join inside the program, ABDULAI Bayrayraytay, you know, former spokesman to former caretaker Ernest Bai. Ernest Bai, the freedom fighter. God bless you, country Israel, where we call We Are. Please, when I go take an ID card, it no matter the mistake, go and take your ID card as long as ECSS is able for use them. Take them and use them, okay? If you're not able for use them at all, then they give you attestation. Make sure say you take that attestation. They are see that part. They say, I know we'll take attestation because I know. Please take the attestation and you can use that one day. After that day, you go and take your ID card. I know say you not get money, but please, 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 with the big good, okay? Until we meet again, one for say, God bless you, country Israel, we'll call We Are. We go later being to Richard Conte in interview with Salon TV Live. Unfortunately, it clash up. I forget Richard Conte and then I go on and make another appointment. But tomorrow we get the APC National Secretary General. We will come and talk to we, you know, on several issues, allegations, then we don't they come up. So tomorrow join we, you know, this same time, 9 p.m. Salon time as we host the APC National Secretary General. Okay, until then, one more time, God bless you all. Good night.
Get used to this. Whoa, whoa. Fire, fire, wire, wire, wire. Boom. We never them, then they take free money. We never them, no they sorry for it. We never them, no broke down the country. Anytime you go, people they cry, say, we never them, no so like lie. We never them, make we country they cry. We never them, no broke down the country. Anytime you go, people they cry, say, say let them go, let them go, let them go. If no go, we country no go good. Let them go, let them go, let them go. If no go, we go die pampo. The way the system they go, we not be voting us so if I go. The way the system they go, we not been voting us so if I go. I said the two ship press and give we the tiff and they sell and they put all of them pockets. United Nations in Tilly, they tiff with money and they fly like a rocket. Now we don't tire with the violence power. We don't tire for the jobless power. For we right to go protest power. For we right with the protest power. Every day thing they do ya. We know they open the cheer. We know they make I don't care. When we talk, we say me put the above. We never them then they tiff free money. We never them, no they sorry for it. We never them, no broke down the country. Anytime you go, people they cry, say, we never them, no so like lie. We never them, make we country they cry. We never them, no broke down the country. Anytime you go, people they cry, say, we never them, no nyampi alarm dum blow. The new direction now, sorry they go. Investor, no they come, then they pack and go. Alone economy, no they go. Azagazi, Azagazi, the country don't bend. Azagazi, Azagazi, the country don't bend. Azagazi, the country don't bend. Azagazi, Azagazi, the country don't bend. When we tell them the truth, them vex. They say we're not terrorists, we're not the watch. 2023, they don't fulfill the promise, we know they catch them. We never them, then they take free money. We never them, no they sorry for it. We never them, no broke down the country. Anytime you go, people they cry, say, we never them, no so lie. We never them, make we country they cry. We never them, no broke down the country. Anytime you go, people they cry, say, the party sleep, the mommy where they near around, make you wake up. The party sleep, you want them where they near around, let them wake up. Nagazi gaga there, Nagazi gaga there. Unge bridge where you promise we with the pray make you make up. Oh, if you not make am 2023, we say for no go take am. We go whip am, we go keep am. The power where we give and we go take am. Me sing say, Azagazi, say the country don't bend. Azagazi, say the country don't bend. Now who don't box up the country? Now who don't make we belly empty? Now who don't go kill a Tombo? Now who don't go kill a Losa? Now who don't go kill a Padema? Them innocent people are McKenny. Now them honorable and where we vote for. They pull up on Babati. Now who don't the thief in a corner? Now who don't bring and Kororma? Who never them then the thief free money? Who never them no they sorry for it? Who never them no broke down the country? Anytime you go, people they cry say, who never them no so lie. Who never them make we country they cry. Who never them no broke down the country?